What's up guys, Jivan back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a bunch of useful phase tricks for Arena. You can start this video knowing nothing about phase tricks and by the end, you'll know a ton. I'll be showing them in creative and then in Arena. By the way, shout out to my boy Turtleman Mills for helping get the clips. And before we start this video, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Alright, we're going to start it off with the easy ones and work our way up. First trick is, if you're below an enemy, you can just walk through their floors and their cones from beneath them. You can spray through it with an AR or just pickaxe your way up and you'll get right into their box. This is a really good pressure move, but you should really only do this trick if you think the enemy's weak. Otherwise, you're going to be taking a 50-50 and 50-50s are not good unless you have a health advantage. So I had this player weak already, I was just chasing him down, I see him box up, and I'm just able to get in from below. Just like that last trick, you can walk right through ramps, you can pickaxe your way through, or just AR spray through and you'll get right into their face. Again, you really only want to do this if you have a health advantage. If you do it while they're max HP, they'll be able to get some nice shots on you and you might die. I'm putting this second clip in here just so you can see that you can phase through the ramp from both directions. No matter which way the ramp is facing, if you just run up against it, you'll eventually get through. I got third-partied right after this. If you get in a 50-50 when there's another player nearby, they're oftentimes going to third-party you right as you finish fighting. Next up, we're going to go through a bunch of different ways to get into somebody's box. There's lots of ways to do this. First one is having a ramp behind you, and you need to time your pickaxe right as your head hits the top of the ramp and the wall. It'll send you right into their box, and it's all about timing. So if you don't know how to do this trick, just keep watching how I'm doing it, getting creative with a friend, and keep trying to get that timing down. Once you do it successfully once, it'll be a lot easier to do it again, and then it just takes practice to be able to do it every time. As you can see, if they have nothing in their box, you can place a cone or a ramp. That'll add extra protection and piece control for you to avoid letting them get shots on you and to make edit plays. And now the smartest way to do this is to set up a cone next to their box. Pickaxe their wall once, make sure you have protection and you're off to the side. Once you get their wall pickaxed once, flip your cone up and then jump into their box, just like I did there. This will make it more of a surprise when you jump in. People don't see this coming as often as if you just put a ramp behind you. So now let's get into some in-game examples. When should you actually be doing this move? This first example, I had the ramp in his box already, so if I phase jumped in, he wouldn't be able to shoot me because I have the ramp as protection. So that was a good situation to jump into his box. Other good times to do it would be like if the enemy is one shot and they're just holding their wall, just ramp phase into their box and you can finish the fight right there. Also, if you're in late game and it's kind of stacked and you need to get a refresh, if you predict that somebody's weak, you can ramp phase jump into their box. Next trick is another ramp phase trick. We're going to show two things you can do with this. First one is if somebody just jumps into your box, you can just flip a ramp and stand on the backside of your wall and the ramp will phase and you can shoot them through it. You just got to be pressed up against your wall, flip the ramp, and it'll work. As you can see in this clip, when I break the ramp and place the second ramp, I'm pressed up against the back of the wall, so when I place the ramp it phases, and I'm able to get the kill. Another even better way you can use this trick is like this. When you're phasing the ramp, you can edit the wall. That way, if somebody's pressuring that wall, you can catch them off guard with a quick phase ramp edit shot. Here's an in-game example of that. When doing this trick, you want to make sure you do it fast and when the opponent is pickaxing your wall specifically. You can catch them off guard if you do it really quick and get a free kill, or at least get a health advantage in the fight. So another way you can get into somebody's box that's really unexpected is by getting the wall one shot and then sprinting at it with a shotgun or AR and timing the shot right as you hit the wall. This works if you're on a ramp, cone, or nothing at all. You can just fly right into their box, it's nuts. If you're on a ramp, you can even do this with a pickaxe. You just got to be full sprinting down the ramp and hit it right as you get to the bottom. So I'll show a few in-game examples of this. Just like with the other tricks, when getting into somebody's box, you want to make sure that they're weak. Otherwise, you're going to be taking a 50-50 and giving the opponent a chance to kill you. But if you go in while they're weak, they'll only have a chance to hit a lucky 200 pump. Otherwise, you'll win the fight if you hit your shots. Fun fact, a lot of people in the game think you can only do this if you're on a ramp, so you can catch a lot of people off guard if you can get the timing down with doing it without a ramp. Another thing to note about this move is it's really good if you pair it up with the tack, because once you get in the box with the tack, you can just keep on shooting. Catches them off guard just like this dude. Next up, we got some phase tricks from above. To do this phase trick, you can just walk up against a ramp on top of somebody's box and you'll phase right in. You can also use a cone, you just have to edit the cone to look like a ramp, but if you're phasing into somebody's box and they have nothing in their box, it's definitely worth placing a ramp in there so you can set up peaks with the ramp. Again, you want to try to surprise them when you're trying to get in their box. You'll see in this clip I kind of drop down and then I jump back up and quickly phase in. Trying to catch them off guard can give you the advantage in a fight. But also, you probably want to make sure you have a health advantage if you're going to do this. Unless you get a ramp in their box, then you can get in without a health advantage, since you can use that ramp to set up peaks, but if they have a cone in their box and you just jump in, that's a 50-50 that you don't want to take ever, unless you got a health advantage. Notice how in both of these examples, I'm like feeling out the situation first, you know? It's not my first instinct to just get in their box right away. I'm trying to make them think I'm gonna do one thing, and then I'll quickly strike from above, get straight into their box, and I catch them off guard by doing that. Those were some great fights right there. Similar to that last trick, here's another way you can get into somebody's box super sneakily. This works so well if you can get the timing down, it throws people off like crazy. So the idea is if you break the floor right as you fall onto it, you'll get right into their box. From their perspective, it's just going to look like their top was getting shot and then all of a sudden they get pumped from their side. Like you fall in so fast that it's hard to even notice. Here's an example of me using it to catch a dub. This is really useful for when you know the opponent's one shot to get right in their box, and it's also really useful in late game because people are so distracted by all the rotating, all the chaos that's going on around them, that they oftentimes will be so thrown off when you just jump in their box from above like this. On top of that, in late game, you know, a lot of those players are going to be really shambles, so it's a great move. So while Mr. Hot Dog and I were recording this video, he showed me another really good way to do this. So first things first, you got to take their top, make a ramp, and then you need to make sure that the floor is absolutely one shot, and you can just jump right in like I do here. So that's a really good way to do it, and I feel like that'll catch so many people off guard. So we got 3 more really good tricks to talk about in this video. If there's ever somebody sitting in a box, a really good way to get refreshes or to just pressure opponents is to get beneath them and just spray them down. This works really well in late game to get free refreshes. If you pre-box below them, like place a cone beneath them and walls around them, they won't have anywhere to go and you'll have a free refresh. This won't always work, but it definitely applies a lot of pressure to the opponent and oftentimes will lead to free kills for you. Another really good trick is if somebody's in a box and they don't have anything in their box like a cone or a ramp, you can aim your crosshair beneath them and slip a cone in their box. After that, you can just pressure their wall, phase jump into their box, or do whatever you're feeling next, but that cone can throw them off. You just gotta make sure you get that crosshair placement down because you do need to aim it in the right spot for this move to work. Also, if you're just beneath the player, slipping a cone in their box like I do in this clip can be a really good pressure move. Again, once I get that cone in their box, I can try to spray them down, I can pressure a wall, or I can do what I do in this clip right here, I can pre-box beneath them. If they get stuck in the cone, then they'll most likely end up dropping a layer and they'll fall right into your box if you have a box made there for them. This is one of the sneakiest moves because they think, oh, I'm just going to edit down to get out of there, and then boom, they're in your box. RIP, brother. Now we saved the best and most advanced move for last. I know a lot of you guys saw this coming. The Noahreyli ramp phase. I don't know if it's necessarily his move, but that's who I learned it from. You can put ramps straight through people's walls. I've talked about this in many other videos, and I have a practice map for this move. I'll put that link in the description for you. The best way to do this move is just like I did there on the screen. First, you gotta get the ramp in their box by looking down and to the left, pressing yourself up against their wall, and then crouching up and down while building the ramp. The ramp will go right through their box. And then you pre-box out the side. You want to try to predict which way they're going to go, pre-box that side, and they'll run right into your box. Sometimes they may also drop straight down, so you got to be ready to pre-box down low if that's where you think they're going to go. And lastly, you can also place anything else through the walls. You can place walls, cones, floors, whatever, with the same exact technique. Looking down and to the left, crouching up and down, and it'll go right through. If you're on controller, it's hard to crouch up and down while doing this, but if you switch your crouch button to one of the left or right sticks, it'll make it a lot easier. So to end this video off, we're just going to play a couple of these ramp phase clips from Arena. One other thing you got to note about this ramp move is that if you're going to place a ramp in their box, you want them to be on the back side of the box. If they're on the front side of the box, like in this clip, they'll oftentimes go for an edit on you, so you got to be ready to pre-fire that just like I did here. But yeah, hopefully this video helps you out. I mean, phase tricks are one of the most important things in the game. It's how you end a lot of fights. It's so crucial for W keying and just for having a better understanding of what's going on, reading your opponent, all that kind of stuff. So if you made it to the end of this video, you are on the right track to improving in Fortnite. Hopefully this helped you out. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, use code JivanTV in the item shop, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.